Hello and welcome to the final installment, part 4 video of the How to Reef Aquarium Maintenance series. And today we're going to cover monthly and yearly maintenance. Now what I've done here is I've gone ahead and set up this little workstation here for things that I need to discuss about this video. And I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible, but we do have to cover a lot here. Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, and we're going to discuss the 6 steps that I do at different times between the monthly maintenance to yearly maintenance to ensure that my system is always running in tip-top shape. Number 1, we're going to move over here to the testing. This is very important. I thought it was important for me to cover this. Very important part of the maintenance is to test your system. Please, if you are even an advanced aquarist, do not go more than a month without testing your system. I mean, this is absolutely important, and I cannot stress this enough. If you're a beginner and you're going through the cycle process, I would recommend you test your system on a daily basis, just so you could get an understanding of the ups and downs of ammonia, nitrite, nitrate. Eventually, as your system reaches stability, you can move on to testing once a week. And as you gain more experience on the chemistry of seawater and you know how to keep that balance right where it needs to be, testing your system once a month is all that it'll take, or will be needed for you to know or have a general idea where the chemistry of the water is. Very important, guys. All that money that you invest in your reef, time and attention, not recommended for you to just let it slide and go 2 months without testing your system, only to find a coral that is dying, and then you find out, what you need to do to solve this issue. Better to be safe than sorry from the get-go. Now, step number 2 here is not necessarily performed on a monthly basis, but it's different for all of us, and it depends on the media that you use. In this particular case, I use ChemiPure Elite in my system. One of the best medias out there, guys. Honestly, in the aquarium industry, highly recommend you guys to use this carbon media here. Now, the ChemiPure advertises, and I'm going to say advertises, that you can change out the media every 4 to 6 months. However, I highly recommend you not to take this approach. It's different for all of us. Every system is different. You heard me say this before, and I'm saying it again. If you have an overstocked system, it may require you to replace the ChemiPure, monthly. If you have, issues with phosphates and stuff, it may require you to replace it, often, even more. And if you use a different type of brand, some brands require you to replace it every 2 weeks, some a month. In this case, I can highly recommend you that you should replace it more frequently than what is recommended by the manufacturer. In my case, every 2 to 3 weeks should do. Now, next to it here is another type of media that needs to be replaced. Now, this one here is the phosphate media. Very important. Phosphate, it just has a real negative impact and can not only stunt the growth of your corals, but it's just, it'll encourage nuisance algae in your system. And so this media must be replaced as well. Now, I use RoaPhos, which recommends, anywhere from 4 to 6 months as well. However, this is another touchy subject that if you have a phosphate problem, I recommend you to replace it more frequently until you get the levels where you want it to be. Then, and only then, you can use the media and replace it a lot less frequently. Now here, as you're looking at here, this is actually my return pump. And this is, extremely important for you to perform. This must be done every 6 months minimum. I mean, it depends on the type of system you have as well. Because if you have a reef, wall-to-wall corals, and you continuously dose your system, calcium and alkalinity, or use a calcium reactor, all this calcium that is being, introduced into your system, while extremely beneficial to the skeletal growth of your corals, can result in calcium carbonate forming on your pumps, doing, what just happened to my system, which is, this is my Mag Drive 18 return pump, and it stopped working yesterday, and I realized it this morning. And so I'm taking this video at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm forced to discuss about this issue because I was lazy about it and let it run for 8 months. Now here, you can see the impeller, guys. I mean, this is absolutely horrible. I mean, it's almost like a rock when you feel it, when in fact this impeller, the magnet, the long tube that you see there, should be a solid gray blackish type of color. This has to be removed. Now the unit itself, you know, also is full of calcium carbonate. We're going to take a closer look, and you can see some coralline algae here on the top, also you know, produced by excess calcium around, you know, amounts in your system. And in order for you to perform this type of maintenance, you must disassemble your pump. Now here you can use, you know, a regular screwdriver here, remove the screws, remove the head of the unit here of the pump itself, you know, remove the impeller, and you can use this toothbrush here or the wire brush that you see there to help remove it. However, because calcium carbonate is so strong and tough, it will require you to use some sort of acid to break down the calcium carbonate and easily remove it from your pump. For that, you can use vinegar, guys. Now, I covered this in a video here. Let's move the camera here. I covered this in a video, how to, you know, clean and sterilize a used 90-gallon reef for reuse. You know, and in that video, I talked a little bit about the use of bleach, and I don't recommend you use bleach in this case. There's no need to. All you want to do is make sure that you clean this pump, and using vinegar, Heinz distilled white vinegar, it could be any brand, as long as you absolutely make sure that it's distilled white vinegar. You don't want to use the apple cider one. You know, it contains contaminants that you don't necessarily need or use, and so all you need is the acidity of the vinegar itself to break it down. Now, typically, it's recommended 1 part vinegar solution to 4 parts of water. In this case, the more vinegar that you use, the faster you'll be able to restore the pump back to, you know, almost near brand new conditions. I recommend you use a lot more vinegar. I've used 4 of these 64-ounce bottles of, you know, Heinz distilled white vinegar and set it up here on a 5-gallon bucket with some fresh water, and you can see that 2 of the pumps are actually being, you know, been running there for a few minutes now that I've set it up. Now, another piece of equipment that must be cleaned and is very important is the float switch here. Now, this in itself can develop that calcium carbonate, get stuck, and either stop your, you know, top of water from going into your system, or may result in overflowing your system. This is extremely important, guys. This equipment must be cleaned. Now, another, you know, task that you should perform is the cleaning of the overflow box. And I'm not going to cover this one in detail today because I did make a video on it. It's called How to Reef Aquarium Maintenance Detritus Buildup, and you can go back and take a look. I'm going to post a link to the video down below so you guys can go visit that video and know a little more about what needs to be done. That maintenance in itself should be performed every 6 months. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to edit the video now, and we're going to move on to the cleaning of the chiller. I'm going to show you guys how I do that, and we're also going to discuss the replacement of the bulbs on a yearly basis, which I use my birthday as a reminder. And we're gonna insert this pump here, clean it out, and I'm going to show you guys a bit of, you know, a little bit of the result that I get. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. Okay, so after these pumps have been soaking in the water solution with the vinegar for about 2 hours, with a little bit of scrubbing and some dedication, the end result is pretty obvious here, guys. I mean, the pump and the impeller look like they were just purchased yesterday. The float switch, everything else looks brand new, and that's exactly what you want to achieve. And now you can go ahead and install these pumps back into your system, and you can enjoy your reef for another 6 months before you have to perform this maintenance again. And I know it's a tedious task, but it must be done. Now, the water that's left over, I didn't necessarily clean all of my pumps in one shot. I still have the protein skimmer running, still have the chiller with Mag Drive 7 running, and those are going to be cleaned now once I install these back into the system. The water that was used to clean these first is still here, and you can see it in the bucket there, and it contains that excess calcium carbonate. You can still use this one to clean the protein skimmer pump and perform what's called a back flush on your chiller here. Now, this is something that is very important to perform, guys. It actually comes in the instructions of this JBJ Arctica chiller. Very good chiller, by the way. Highly recommended. But, you know, after about 6 months, the same calcium carbonate that forms in your pumps can also form in the titanium coils that cool the water. And so you want to make sure that you run some water with vinegar through the unit to remove this. You also may want to, you know, instead of running it as you would with the water, you may want to switch it out and reverse the flow through the entire unit to back flush and remove some of the debris that may be sitting inside of the chiller. It's really simple to do, guys. It's all about common sense, and that's basically what you need to do. Number one, test your system on a monthly basis. Number two, replace your media as need be in the proper times. Number three, clean your pumps. Remove all that calcium carbonate from your pumps and make sure that your pumps are working as if they were brand new. This maintenance must be done every 6 months. Number five, clean your chiller. You can do the same process that I used here with the pumps to clean the titanium chiller. And number six is the last one that we're gonna cover here. And that is simply the replacement of your bulbs here. This is something that, you know, is a little bit touchy here because, you know, LED lighting doesn't require this, you know, but for those of you who have T5s, metal halides, compact fluorescent light fixtures, all of these fixtures require you to replace these bulbs on a yearly basis. Now, this is something that we're gonna get into. I'm gonna make a series of videos, guys, discussing LED lighting, and we're gonna start with a full review of the Marineland LED lighting system. I was able to get my hands on one of these. We're gonna cover that in a future video. I almost hate to do a review of this particular light fixture, guys, because it has more bad than good, but we're gonna cover that. Bear with me before you judge. You know, hear me out on the video. Okay, I've got a lot of things to talk about. I also was able to obtain, you know, the aqua illumination light fixture. We're gonna be doing a video review on that. I've got that, you know, coming in the mail, and I'm gonna be installing it to this system and replacing the metal halide system. And we're gonna put LEDs to the test. You don't want to miss these series of videos, guys. We're also gonna do the live rock versus dry rock video. I've got the piece of dry rock there. Also want to cover, you know, that I went ahead and upgraded the Reef Keeper light system to the Reef Keeper Elite system. We're also going to be doing a series of videos, or at least we're going to be discussing pH probe problems and solutions. We're going to be covering what they don't tell you when you buy this controller, and that is that you need to replace the pH probe and most likely the temperature probe on a yearly basis. We've got a lot more videos to come, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series of videos. Hope you guys have found it educational for you guys. Really am enthusiastic about releasing these type of videos. Rate my videos, give it a thumbs up. The more thumbs up I see, the more enthusiastic I'm gonna be about releasing these types of videos, guys. So bear with me, help me out here. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking by me. Many more videos to come. This is New York Steelo signing out. Peace.